When you think of small town America, you think of businesses on a main street. And over the years, many of us have seen these businesses leave because people have retired and their families are no longer interested in being in that business. Zelienople, Pennsylvania, here in western Pennsylvania, is just one example of a street that has changed over the years. And many local residents want to do something to refurbish, to refresh, to bring in new businesses, to start stimulating the new economy here in these areas. Today we're in Zelienople to talk with some people about a revitalization project that looks like it's on the way. Let's find out more by talking to some of those involved with that project. In many ways, the borough of Zelienople here in western Pennsylvania has come together. The residents have worked for years to try to make things better here, to improve not only the community physically, but also as far as activities are concerned. The borough president here in Zelienople is Alan Bayer. And tell us a little bit about how the community has really come together to do all of this.
Well, Larry, actually what you see here is there a new parking lot, which is part of our Main Street revitalization project. We'll finish the parking lot this year, and then next year we'll begin Main Street itself, and we'll be doing our first section, okay, on Main Street, and that'll hopefully get concluded that following year, and then by then hopefully we have grant money and what have you to move on to the second phase.
Before all this revitalization program started, weren't there some other activities that brought the community together a little bit?
Yeah, I think if you think about it, we've had the Strand Theater, okay, was renovated and has brought a lot of people to the borough, a lot of recognition of the borough. Brian Carter has done a tremendous job with that. We have a program now in conjunction with Main Street to replace all the curbs on the main arteries coming into town, which would be Newcastle, West Newcastle, if you will, West Beaver, and East Grandview, okay. Along with that, we also have a gateway committee, and that committee is working on signage as you come into the borough on the main arteries that will really pop. And when you come into Zelienople, you'll begin to see it. We've seen some preliminary designs of that, and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
In the old days, Zelienople was a very, very busy place. Main Street was packed with locally owned businesses, and things have changed as they have in all small towns around the country and certainly here in western Pennsylvania. Will it ever get back to where it was before, or maybe even get better?
Oh, I think it'll actually get better. With the revitalization of Main Street and the other things that are going on in town, we get the Hotel Kaufman House opened up again. That's going to bring a lot of people in. That's an icon of the community, as is the Strand Theater. We're currently looking into doing the final design of the new pool. Our pool's been with us since 1956, and it's time to replace it. So we'll be doing that over the next year or two. Along with that, we'll have a skate park that will go next to the pool. The park itself has seen a huge revitalization over the past several years. We've seen new restrooms go in up there. We've seen the basketball courts go in, the new playing ground. Rotary has been a huge asset to the park in terms of contributions they've made to help us along with that as well.
Where do these ideas come from? Do you do it just as a council, or do you do it with organizations, or is the general public involved at all?
Interestingly enough, it is the general public. People have ideas, they come together, they bring them to council. Council agrees, and we form a committee of volunteers, and all of this that I've spoke about so far has been through volunteers, and they run with the project, and they just do a terrific job.
Well, let's find out some more about this revitalization program, which is a major ongoing program that will take some years to perfect, and let's talk about that next. But it's good talking with you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Larry. Enjoyed it.
The Zelienople Revitalization Committee has been active for years now to make things better physically and from a community standpoint better. Don Pepe is the borough manager here in Zelienople, and he's been very much involved with that organization. Don, how did this all start? How did somebody come up with the idea that something finally had to be done here?
We knew that we were at a point in the borough, especially along Main Street, that something needed to be done before there was a degradation of the economy vis-a-vis the buildings, the stores and whatnot. So some borough council members, some staff, and some people in the business community sat down over breakfast at the Kaufman House, to tell you the truth, where we felt that we needed to figure out how to do this. There had been some other efforts in the past that didn't work, so we wanted to make sure we didn't make the same mistakes. So after a period of time, we developed a committee that was consisted of both business people, borough elected officials, and borough staff to see how we put together some sort of plan by acquiring some sort of consultant that had the experience to be able to do this. Now, in order to do that, there had to be some upfront money, and the borough council had somewhere around $25,000 as seed money to get this thing underway.
Now, is all of this done to make the place look prettier, or is there more to it than that?
Oh, it's definitely more to it than that. I think that what the consultant had said when we first talked to them was you have to be able to make sure that there's something attractive that people want to come to. I hate to use the term, it's you build it and they'll come, but that's really true. But it goes way beyond just looking pretty. It's a deep-seated of effort to try to improve the economic base that will be sustained for long periods of time.
Other communities have tried this in various stages, and many of them went about it the wrong way because nothing really happened or came to fruition the way they had originally planned. How did you know that your plan was going to be one that might be successful?
At first, we didn't, and that was the interesting thing. We were able to acquire a consultant that had the experience. They did work in Slippery Rock, they did work in Grove City, and some other places in Pennsylvania. So we wanted to have somebody who had the experience that worked, and they did. Now, what we were able to do was not only acquire the entity to help us, but the plan and then the feet on the ground to make sure these things work, because it's going to it required a lot of effort to try to get grant funds to match whatever funds we had locally.
Let's talk specifically about what stages you're in right now and just what the plan is.
Okay. After a long period of time of vetting all this out, after public meetings that we've had at the Strand and other types of meetings in order to be able to get public input, we've decided that the project was going to be put into two main phases. The first phase would consist of a streetscape project from Newcastle Street to Spring Street, which would be to refurbish sidewalks, curbs, put utilities underground, and do all the facelifting things that needed to be done. The second piece was, of course, doing the parking lot, which is what you see behind us. And the third, which was really a critical piece, was the Kaufman House renovation. The Kaufman House had been down because of a fire about 4 years ago. So we felt that as part of the puzzle here would have made not only the grants work, but also the project work, because it's such an iconic place for Zeli.
Now, you say Kaufman House. Many people viewing us right now don't know what that is.
The Kaufman House, it was a hotel and a restaurant that was built in about 1904, and it became an anchor for the economy here in Zelienople. So when it was out of commission 4 years ago due to a fire, it really affected the economic base of the community. So we needed to do something about that.
When the Kaufman House was open, did it bring people in from outside the area?
Absolutely. And if you talk to a number of different people in the area and outside of the area, when you talk Zelienople, that's what they think of.
So without the Kaufman House, there's a problem. But let's talk about what you mentioned earlier, that the streets are being fixed up, maybe the wires overhead are being put underground. Everything looks nice and neat and clean. Will that in itself bring people in here?
Yes, we certainly believe that to be true. One of the premises for the whole project was that you make your town look good so people want to invest in it. And that was a critical piece of the whole puzzle. So that is definitely something that we wanted to make sure happened.
Will those changes bring new businesses into town?
We're certainly hoping that will be the case. And to tell you the truth, we found that already there have been investments in new buildings and because of the fact that we have this project underway.
I think what's interesting, even in the last few years, there have been a number of new businesses on Main Street here in Zelienople, even though that the reconstruction project had not even started or even thought of. So apparently there's something here that's attractive. What is that?
That's a very good question. Zelienople is truly a place that people want to be, not only as a business, but people live here. It's a very attractive community. It sets pretty much by itself outside of the realm of Cranberry, which is certainly fine, and between Cranberry and Butler, we're basically kind of like a jewel. And I think it's really important to note that we're at the nexus of 4 major state highways, and because of that, people come through here all the time. And allowing us to be able to have something that's attractive for individuals is certainly something that is certainly to our benefit.
Now, wouldn't the growth of Cranberry Township have a major impact in Zelienople?
Oh, it does. It does in a very positive way. But between Cranberry and Zele, Jackson Township has a buffer between the two, and the bad parts of growth we don't see from Cranberry. We just see the benefit because people in Cranberry now know, hey, Zelienople is a great place to go, and we're only 7 miles away. So it works both ways.
You had alluded earlier to a meeting that was held here before this whole revitalization program took effect or even began. Sure. Tell us about that meeting and who was there and what the feelings were there.
Well, it's interesting. We had a couple of members of council there who were willing to be able to go out on a limb to try to do something in terms of starting a project. We had a number of different business people there, and me and a couple of other staff people. It was a meeting to try to say, what can we do? And we were really very strongly committed to having something done. By virtue of that, then the larger committee was formed, and all that, the whole project got traction, and a lot of hard work went into the acquisition of grants and the budgeting of monies through the borough to be able to match those numbers.
As of this moment, do you have enough money to do all that you want to?
As of right now, we have enough money to do the first phase that we're talking about. Yes, we do.
Back in the old days, most of the businesses on main streets in every small town in America were operated by local people, local businessmen. That's no longer the case. Are there some local people now starting businesses in Zelienople?
Yes, there are. And I won't be able to cite you chapter and verse, but that's absolutely true. Some businesses have changed hands. They're local. And some other businesses, I think, are waiting in the wings to have happen.
What's the feeling now that this project has started? Here we are in what will be a major parking lot to ease some of the parking problems downtown. People are seeing on the website pictures of what may happen in the next few years. What's the new feeling in Zelienople?
I think that the vast majority of people who take the time to look and see what the project is has a very positive outlook to this. There have been very few detractors in terms of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to go about it. I think the public is extremely supportive of us. And I think what you mentioned in terms of the website is really critical. We've had that on there. We have the entire plan on there. It's certainly open for discussion and for comment by people. But as of right now, we're very comfortable with how we've split this first phase into 3 different pieces.
Now, if folks want to see that very attractive website with actual photographs and artists' rendering of what the future will hold, what's the website?
Just go to the Borough website, and there's a link to that, so that shouldn't be a problem. I don't have the actual address memorized, but the point is just go to the Borough website. And I think also the Main Street Committee also has a website that is tied in with that as well.
Don, thanks very much, and good luck with the project. It sounds very, very exciting.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and believe me, it's really exciting to be able to be here to see it all happening.
Stephen Schultz is the president of the revitalization program here in Zelienople. He's also a businessman here in town. He is the operator of the insurance services of Zelienople. You are not a resident of Zelienople all your life.
No, I have not. I have been a resident here for about 10 years. I now live in Cranberry, but I've always worked here in Zelienople for over 30 years now.
What's been the business community's reaction to this whole revitalization program?
Oh, it's been wonderful. All the businesses are backing our revitalization. They're excited about it. It's been long overdue. We got some good momentums with the grants that we've secured through our revitalization committee with the help of the borough. So it's all positive, Larry.
Are there some people that are opposed to this whole project?
I don't hear too many. The census here in town is that most of the people are behind this. And the good thing about it and what we do as a committee to kind of go between the property owners and residents is try to do this without increasing taxes or increasing budgets, and that's where we've been at. And I think that was a concern initially, but as we've gotten through this and seeing how our momentum's grown, I think that's why a lot of people are on board with us.
Steve, some people might feel that this is all for business purposes, all to benefit the business community. It goes beyond that, doesn't it?
It sure does. It's the residents will have a lot to benefit from this. Certainly opening the Kaufman House. We'd like to bring more retail here. We want to bring some outside people here. That'll benefit not only the businesses but the residents as well.
There are two museums here in downtown Zelienople. Is that a major factor in the interest in people coming here?
Absolutely. The big thing in Zelienople, they try to preserve the historical buildings and keep the history here. That's what this is all about. This town's been around a lot of years, and that's a big part of why, and we're here to preserve a lot of that, Larry.
Now, some of the old-timers might reject change just because that's the way things are sometimes at a certain age. Do you get some feeling of resistance from some of the older residents?
Not too much. I mean, most of the people here are on board with us and seeing what's happening now, and like I said, the momentum rolling. Most of the people are on board with us, old and young.
What's going to happen first?
Well, first we're going to get the parking lot done. The parking lot should be finished here this fall, and that's going to certainly help Zelienople. That's been a huge problem for the residents as well as business owners. Once that goes, people are going to see the streets then phase 2 being completed, and that'll really open up the town as people come through. So we're excited about it. It's taken a long time. This didn't happen overnight. Our committee started well over 6 years ago. There's 16 of us. Residents, business owners, property owners. So it hasn't happened overnight, but we're excited where we're at right now.
Are you still getting new ideas from some of the Zelienople residents?
Absolutely. We got the Rotary involved. I'm a member of the Rotary. They've decided to use a project here to fund some benches here, and a lot of the other clubs and people are getting on board. It's been kind of neat now that we got this going.
Do you expect that there'll be many people around the area opening stores, opening shops before too long, or will it be just the outside big box stores?
No, we're hoping that we get the retail people back by having additional parking. Is going to open second floors, third floors where we couldn't have them due to the parking. So we're excited about that, and we want to bring, like I said, people in. We're seeing a lot of growth in residential plans coming in here, and so it's good all the way around there.
When we hear about the consulting firm involved here coming up with a master plan, are there changes along the way? Are there some modifications along the way, or is it a set plan from beginning to end?
Absolutely, absolutely not. There have been changes. We've made a lot of changes. We made a lot of from entrances to parking lots to what type of lampposts. So there's a lot of input by our committee, and of course the borough. So that it's and by talking with a lot of residents and a lot of business owners giving us ideas, we bring that back to the committee and we talk about it. We have been involved in some of the planning process.
This is just starting now in 2016. How long will it take for the entire plan project to reach fruition?
Boy, I hope I'm alive when it happens. My grandkids, my kids. This is for them too. So hopefully, when I first started, I wanted this thing a lot quicker, but I'm finding out through the process that it isn't as quick as it can be. But we're staying strong, and hopefully we get phase 2 underway here, and that's where we're at now, which is going to bring us down to Newcastle Street. So we hope things are going forward there, and we want our third phase will be up at the parks. So the completion, it's tough to say. It's several years away. Like I said, I hope I'm living by then.
Now, the reason why there's been a deterioration over the years because many shop owners on Main Street retired, and their children maybe went off to the professions and didn't come back to work in Zelienople. You're in business here. You're in the insurance business. Will your children stay here to continue the business?
Absolutely. I have 2 of them working in my business right now, and that's the plan. Zelienople's been good to me, been good to my family, it's been good to a lot of people, and that's why we're here to kind of polish it up and make it better for our kids and our grandkids.
Steve, thanks very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Larry.
Now I think it's time to talk about the major project here in downtown Zelienople, and that's the Kaufman House, which is within 100 yards of where we are right now. And let's find out what the project is and what it looks like for the future. The Kaufman House here in Zelienople is a major project. It's a future project, and we'll find out just how far into the future it might become a reality. Jack Cohen is the president of the Butler County Tourism and Convention Bureau and very much involved with that project. Jack, when did this all come about that you were involved in doing something about the closed Kaufman House?
Well, ever since we knew about the fire that they had in this building, we always wanted to see it reopen. And after 3 years of it sitting empty, we decided that we should try and see if there's a way that we can salvage and save this great old building.
But the Tourism Bureau is not in the commercial business. What involvement does it have, and how would you somehow make it happen?
You know, we look at tourism as usually people think coming in and going out, but it's more than that. We talk about job creation. We talk about restoring old pieces of history, and that's what this is. So we partner with a college, and we're going to do a project with them to teach culinary arts and hospitality management out of this building. And all those students in those programs at BC3 will come here and do their interns and externships, and then they'll need that for their graduation.
Now, it's going to cost millions of dollars to put this in shape to be a workable operation, to be a viable hotel. Where's the money coming from?
We're very fortunate. Our elected officials in Harrisburg were very helpful in this project. You know, if we start with Dick Stevenson, the state representative, when he was here before he retired, he saw the same vision I did. And he understood what we were looking for, and he helped us with Governor Corbett at the time, and now Governor Wolf. Both of those gentlemen understood what we're trying to do to help this community, and they helped us. They gave us a grant of $780,000, part of the Zelienople Revitalization Program. But also we have another loan that we took out, and the Bureau took out a loan, and it's run through our foundation. So the Bureau are two separate pieces, but the Butler County Tourism Foundation is running this project, and in doing so, we felt that it was vital for us and for our members and just the work that we do to make sure that we can develop a new workforce too.
Will this always be a publicly owned operation then?
No, it won't. Once the debts are all paid off, the tenant who is going to be with us, that gentleman and his wife have extensive background in restaurants and hotels, and they'll be running the operation. Once the debts are off, we're going to sell the property over to them. That's not our mission to own property. Our mission is to help the community and serve in that form so we can get something old back up and running again.
Jack, was there no other way to do this? Were there no other people interested in buying this and making it a strictly commercial project?
Financially, it would have been impossible for anyone to do that unless government supported a project like this. Without that, this could never have happened. It would have had to have been leveled.
Jack, how important is the Kaufman Hotel to the community and to the region?
I think it's a catalyst for this whole project that Zelienople is doing. What it will do, it'll open up the street again for guests to come and visit and stay, and then spend their dollars in the shops and visit the restaurants, the theater, and all the different stores up and down Main Street. It will generate a whole new interest in this community.
Can you give us an idea what this will look like and what it's going to feel like walking into the Kaufman Hotel in the future?
That's easy because anybody that's ever come to the Kaufman House, they remember the old charm. And what we're going to do is even take it back further. The idea behind this project is to restore this building to its grandeur when it was opened in 1902. And we're going to take it back to that time frame so people understand and look and see that feel of what this was when it was first built.
Can you describe in detail what we'll see, what changes might take place, what the hotel part will look like?
Sure. First, when you walk in the front door, right now, the way it was left right before the fire, there was a breakfast area. And that area is going to go back to its original state, which was the bar. And so the bar will be moving up to the front, and it'll be a beautiful bar area. And then the restaurant will be back where it was before, and we're going to try and make it look from that time frame. But then the hotel rooms will be back up and operational. We have to put an elevator in. You know, we'll have 18 rooms. Originally, we were 30 rooms, but some of those rooms didn't have restrooms and showers. And so that, you know, back in that day, there were common areas where people used. But we're going to, obviously, today, I don't think that would work. So we're gonna get that fixed up, and everybody's going to have really nice accompaniments in them rooms. So it'll be beautiful.
With all the hotels down in Cranberry Township, why would someone stay in Zelienople?
Oh, that's easy. This will be a boutique hotel. This will be the first boutique hotel in Butler County. And that means as a boutique hotel, each room will be themed differently. Every room will be completely different than the next. And sometimes people just want to get away and experience a different lifestyle and a different time. And that's what we're going to do here.
Jack, where do these ideas come from? Has anybody else done something like this somewhere in the country?
Oh, this happens all over the country. But this, again, as I said, will be the first boutique hotel in Butler County. And it's a great opportunity for us to showcase a great community like Zelienople.
What will it do to the entire community, the business community?
It'll energize our shopkeepers and the owners of these businesses to expand their hours and stay here at night, knowing that there are guests here that want to do things at night. And during the day, those folks are going to want to, buy things. A great jewelry store next door, shops up and down Main Street. There's a great little bakery across the street. You have banks on the street. People are going to need those services when they come and stay with us.
It looks like this is going to be a local operation again here in Zelienople. Were there any outside larger hotel operations or restaurant operations looking at this site?
There were some folks from Pittsburgh that came here and some of Farways, Ohio. They were interested, and we really wanted to keep that local. To me, that's everything that we do here. What we're looking for in our contractors and the people that are going to do the work here and the dollars that come into us, we're trying as best we can to keep that money at home.
So it looks like it's going to really happen. When will all this happen?
Well, as we're standing here and you're looking in the background, you see the building. We imagine in about 4 weeks from now, there'll be workers going in and out already. We're ready to go.
So the money's available, the grants that were available?
It is. Everything is shaping up the way it's supposed to go. Timing is right on track, and we're moving forward.
Let's talk very briefly about tourism generally in Butler County. I guess lots of things have been happening in the last year.
What a great time to be here. I mean, there's so many untapped markets still, but we're beginning to tell the story of this community. Not just Zelienople, but you look far away as Chicora and Butler and Saxonburg. There's so many great stories in this community that all we do is tell them, and people want to be involved in them. It's a really great place to live.
Jack, some people are now really interested in finding out more. Is there a website they can look at to get more information?
Sure, you can go to our website at visitbutlercounty.com, and you'll be able to find anything you need.
Jack, good to see you again. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Larry. We appreciate your time.
So as you've seen, Zelienople is on the way to major projects to refurbish their streets, their buildings, their businesses, and certainly the hotel behind us. We'll find out more as time goes on and come back to see what happens in years to come. I'm Larry Berg. We'll see you next time on Faces and Places.